Welcome back to Class Firearms, guys. Kai over here with Matt.
What's up, everybody?
And we've got Jason here.
What's going on, folks?
And you've just tuned into another versus video, and today it is SAR versus Canik. You guys know about these
Battle
brands?
of the Turkish Terrors.
That's right. This is the Battle of the Turks. So you guys know about these brands?
Real Ottoman Empire stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's right.
So Canik, I mean, I feel like obviously Turkish-made firearms as a whole and pistols specifically are a really rapidly expanding part of the market.
Yep.
And if I was going to name any two brands, it would probably be Canik and SAR.
That's right.
Because I mean, I think that they just probably have the biggest part of the market of the Turkish hands. Certainly, we know some other brands out there, but I'd say if you had to pick two names that stood out, it would be these two.
What about you?
I just know Canik, man. I've never actually dealt with the SARs. They look good. They feel good. I'm interested.
Yeah, so Caniks, they've been in the United States a lot longer than SARs.
Okay.
And so they're both obviously Turkish. Both companies that I personally like. And that's why I'm here to kind of host and mediate, because I don't want to sound biased to you guys, because I did actually work for SAR. I actually contracted with them for a while.
We worked together back when he still worked for SAR.
Exactly, and I'm good friends with them. And I got to know Canik guys over the last year and a half, being with the Classic Firearms.
Adam's a great guy.
Yeah, Adam's a great guy. There's really awesome guys over there. So great product, awesome quality control, and Canik definitely by far has more market share in the United States than
and aftermarket support and lots of things. But you gotta wonder, you know, that big like Century Arms name behind them. Like,
of course. Of course. They're both great products, different. I'm more used to SARs than Caniks, but I got used to them a little bit, and they're fantastic. I'm gonna shoot two.
Okay.
Gonna keep my opinions.
I mean, who wouldn't want to come to the range and shoot?
Exactly. So my opinions won't really, let's just say, count. I'll try to be as unbiased, as honest as possible, and you guys will watch how I shoot, obviously, both of them, and I will try my best. But it'll come down to Jason and Matt shooting these guns one by one and tell us their opinions, and you guys will basically pick which one is the winner, and then we'll move on to the next category.
Okay.
Cool.
And today, what we start with, we've got basically from subcompact, micro compacts. So it's right here. This is SAR 9 subcompact, Canik MC9. Basically, this is micro compact 9. Okay. Right here. They're both 12+1. And then we're gonna move on to just good old SAR 9 and the Canik TP9 SF right here. About the same comparable guns right here.
Okay.
And moving on to a little bit more tactical guns that both companies offer. This is Canik Mete SFD Pro, and this is SAR 9 SOCOM. That's it right here. They're both
very similar features, at least initially looking at them, right?
Exactly. Both got threaded barrels and
Extended
cut for a dot, mag wells, right? Yep. Flare mag wells. So pretty good. And moving on to SAR 9 Sport. This is the extended barrel to Canik SFX Rival right here. And then moving on to the metal bodies, and this may not be apples to apples, but this is
Close enough.
SAR K12 Hammerfire single action, their competition lineup right here, and this is the Canik SFX Rival S, all steel, aluminum body. It's a metal body, right?
Oh, really?
Right here. It's a little bit different, but still metal to metal.
The hammer to strike fire, that's probably gonna be a pretty big difference, but
yeah, but metal to metal, I feel like that's gonna be the best option we have. So we should start with the subcompact. So SAR 9 subcompact and Canik Mete MC9. And see how it goes.
yeah.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be at 15 yards, target down there, and I want you guys to judge these guns based on these categories. Number one, or ergonomic. Ergonomics, how it feels in the hand, it controls all of that stuff.
Cool.
Number two, recoil management. How does the recoil feel to you?
Okay.
Number three, accuracy. How accurate were you with that gun?
Okay.
And number five, overall specs of the gun. Okay, we can talk about the whole thing.
Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's it. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So start with the MC9 and the SAR 9 subcompact.
All right.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, who's going first?
Let Matt go first.
Matt,
got
are you a pistol guy?
I'm not as much of a pistol guy now.
I know, because you like rifles.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Give it a try, see what you got.
All right, cool.
All right.
I'm gonna turn around this way.
So 15 yards out, and this is the line, Matt, right here. Get a good grip, get on that sight. Dude,
So
you actually started to get accurate. Initially, you had a couple of misses, and then you start to get right on target.
yeah, so obviously,
No, keep your opinion.
oh, okay,
Yeah, you don't want to skew his.
All right.
yep, you're right.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, and I've got the
go with
Meta MC9 with the extended base pad because my hands are big.
Dude, that's crazy. You hit that edge of that target 3 in a row at the very edge.
All right, so we got a trade now.
Yeah. Let them switch.
Here's your SAR magazine,
Thank you.
and you got your Canik magazine.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, so load up here. Now, I do not have the extended magazine because we only had one. So,
And dude, that was the opposite. Your first four-ish hits were on target, and then the rest you start missing. The opposite.
well, we'll get into why I feel that is, but
Yep.
See what this one's about.
Dude, all on target. No misses.
all right. So, opinion time.
All right, so you guys want to talk about the SAR 9 Subcompact first, since you started with that?
Sure. So I like the SAR 9 Subcompact. The biggest thing for me is true for kind of all subcompacts and even, micro compacts, like anything that's that small, is that I just find them really kind of hard to keep a hold of because there's so little to hold on to.
Yep.
Also, it's innately kind of a lighter weight pistol, so I feel like you feel the recoil effects more. So yeah, I think that again, not being a huge pistol guy in general, the most enjoyable pistol shooting is, at least compact, if not full size, because it's just more pleasant. It's easier to kind of keep keep control of the pistol. But I feel like it did really well. I like the front sight with the highlight there.
Yeah, the night sights.
Yep.
High visibility sights. Yeah.
So, that's my takeaway for the SAR 9C. Ergonomics were fine overall. Just, again, that small size makes it a little more jumpy in my hands.
What did you think about the Canik?
So, for the Canik, obviously I had, I think a similar issue. Now, the difference is where on this one, I kind of saw where I was sitting off target and I was able to kind of move it back on. On this one, I started out pretty good and then it was just my hands, it's pretty humid out today, and I felt like my hands just kept slipping, especially again, there's just not that much space to hold on to. So that's going to be my excuse for my performance. This does have a white front sight, which helps with sight alignment, although I definitely think the green on the SAR is a better option.
And those are night sights too.
Yeah, and it's a night sight. So this is just a white dot. It's not going to illuminate or anything. But again, as far as...
Which one wins?
For me, I think I'm going to go with the SAR.
Okay.
All right.
Jason, you're on deck.
So, all right. So my thoughts, shooting this one absolutely feels amazing in the hand for even how small it is. I will say this, they even think about where to place your thumb and give you like this nice little textured piece, unlike the Canik. So that's a plus for me. And it comes, optic ready, just like that one. So that's great. If I don't feel like, using traditional sighting system here, I could throw a red dot on there. That's great. It's not as much recoil as I thought.
Yeah.
And so after shooting that one first, which tons of recoil, this one didn't. It might have to do with just the way I'm holding it in my hand. I have a way more positive grip. Could be the grip angle.
12.
Could be the, finger grooves for all you anti-finger groove nerds there, but it's really good and it's solid. And the trigger is actually really, really good. Like again, my first time with SAR, the trigger feels really good. Only thing I'd change about this is maybe just make this go down a little bit. This beaver tail didn't get, like, if this beaver tail was a little bit more flatter, if the angle was done more, I could get my hand a little higher on the purchase. But that's just me. Especially with being such a small gun, I have a full grip here, and I just need a little bit more oomph just to get it in there without squeezing the hell out of my hand. But
Cool.
yeah.
Canik?
All right, with the Canik. So I wasn't too fond of this at all. It's extremely snappy. The recoil is a little not pleasurable. Actually, screw that. It's completely not pleasurable. There is no place to put your thumb on here on your support side. And I find myself really reaching over and actually trying to get a grip on that, you know, minute little tail. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the high bore axis versus that, and it's so snappy that causes the recoil to actually feel like that. But the trigger's not the greatest either. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a little crunchy. The brake is there is great, but that take up is just too much play. It being a smaller compact gun. Now I understand that. I would actually rather have it the other way around, extremely crisp, and like let me anticipate it instead of it being mushy. But other than that, I mean, the sights are sights, bro. I mean, we're at 15 yards. Like, it is what it is.
Which one wins?
Yeah, it's definitely the SAR for me. At least on this one, yeah.
On this one, round one, SAR 1, and so far Canik is 0, but we just started. So let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
All right, SAR 9 Gen 3 and the Canik TP9 SF. So same deal. You're on deck.
All right, let's do it.
Get that good grip. Dude, you were very accurate.
All right, so we'll let you go. We don't want to talk yet.
All right,
Don't want to talk yet.
All right.
I think it was only 2 or 3 misses. That's it. Pretty good. All right, so switch.
Here you go, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Matt, you're really accurate with that one too. And your turn.
I gotta remember. I can't comment yet.
Yeah,
I remember that.
you will. Damn, Jason.
Superman over here. All right, so feedback.
You shot the SAR. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with the Canik. So I really was thinking about like some of the criteria, right? And I wanted to put more thought into it because I realized in that first test I was focusing kind of on some shooting and not necessarily just as a review, right? Okay. So I definitely say that I feel like the recoil on here was snappier than on the SAR. I thought the trigger felt okay to me. Like, I mean, especially like, you know, after that first shot when you're just waiting for the kind of reset and pull again, I didn't really have a problem with the trigger. Again, you know, as far as sights go, we just have a white front sight, nothing on the rear. So it's very basic. As far as features, you know, the grip felt comfortable.
Ergonomically.
Much more comfortable with something a little bit bigger.
Of course.
And I think that, you know, hopefully that shows and I could hit the target. Talking about the SAR, so like I said, you know, I felt like the recoil on this was lighter. I like the grip on this better. So I feel like the palm swell fit my hand better. I like that there's some, I mean, kind of shallow, but there are some finger grooves, and I like that. It felt like I had better purchase on the pistol, especially again, since my hands are kind of sweaty. But yeah, I mean, again, this has night sights front and rear, and
race too, suppressor kind of.
And unlike the Canik, this is optics ready.
Yeah.
So,
and to be fair, this is Gen 3.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Versus, you know, like you said, the SF kind of being a little bit of an older model,
yeah.
right?
A little bit older, yeah.
But so yeah,
Which one wins?
I definitely have to give it to the SAR 9 Gen 3. Like out of these two, it just felt so much better to shoot.
Gotcha. All right, Jason, you.
All right, so the TP9 SF. come back to my woes. The trigger is not the greatest on this. It is so mushy, and I'm trying to prep as I go, but as I'm prepping, I feel like there's a different break every single time. And maybe it's just me, but it's just kind of weird. Maybe it's just a me thing.
And as someone who's maybe more competitive, you're probably more discerning when it comes to like the trigger.
Right. So the trigger, I can deal with everything else, but if the trigger doesn't work for me, it's not going to work like altogether. Other than that, the grip on here is actually, it's kind of cool. I wish they would have given this texture like all over the gun.
Yeah.
That's just me. Yeah. I don't know what more else I can say about that. When it comes down to its recoil, this is recoil at about like a 7. That's more at like a 4. So that's just me.
Difference.
Yeah, that's a big of a difference. Again, I think it's because this is such high bore access.
Yeah.
So if I had to compare this like to guns that aren't here, I'd say what I'm feeling is the difference when I shoot my SIG versus when I shoot my Glock. So I know that it's a little bit more up top, but I'm trying to muscle down the recoil, but then I'm trying to do 2 things as well, prepping the trigger, and the trigger's not the greatest for me. Other than that, it doesn't really give me any spot for my support hand as I come here. So that's just not the greatest, but I mean, it shoots well. I only missed like what, 2 out of this. So
Yeah, you shot them both really well. Which one wins?
Well, I gotta go over to the SAR 9 first.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You can talk about SAR. Yeah.
First off, right off the bat, the ergonomics on this are phenomenal, right? Again, peel the onion back on that. The palm swell here is amazing. Like, it's amazing. I'm pretty sure this is like one of the back straps that just came stock out of the box, right? We didn't tweak
this
it.
is the medium one. They have small and large.
Right, we didn't even tweak it, so that's great. And it fits both your hand and my hand. Great. I love the finger grooves because it actually lets me know like, hey, what's going on? I feel a good confident purchase on here. I don't have to squeeze extra just to get a little bit more out of it. I've got a spot for my thumb on support side just to make sure I can muscle it down, and it's just a better pointer and shooter to me. Sights are relative because provided that they're not like the Steyr hog sights, I don't care what it is. And remember, this actually is the gun with a built-in safety.
Which I'm personally not a fan, but I know they offer it without.
Right, and I saw one that had a delete on it. I actually don't mind this because it's actually very like low intrusive. It doesn't intrude too much, so that's great. You can easily activate that with your thumb if you need to present up, so that's great. This gun just tracks well. It feels good, and the trigger is absolutely, I mean, it's a crisp 90 break. I mean, it's right. Exactly, right? Like, I'm trying to prep right there. There's a prep, there's a wall, there's a break. I mean, it's predictable, it's great, it's repeatable. So in saying all that, SAR wins on that one for that. So,
gotcha. Yeah. All right, good deal. So we've got SAR 2 and Canik 0. Now we're moving on to tactical guns.
All right.
Let's do it. All right, so we've got the, we kind of stepped up our games a little bit. Got the SAR 9 SOCOM from Turkish Special Forces and all the tactical cool thing. And then now we got this tactical Canik SFD Pro.
Okay.
So, you all right?
I better be.
Nice.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So the Mete SFT Pro.
That was really good, man. I saw one miss.
Keep my thoughts to myself.
Yep.
Try.
Nice shooting, Matt. We're pretty accurate with that one. All right.
SOCOM.
I think I saw one miss too on that one.
I think I saw two, one low left and one high right.
Oh, I didn't see a low left. I saw the high one at the end.
All right.
All right, so Matt.
All right, so again, I really felt this was a pleasure to shoot. So again, I can't say enough nice things about just the way the grip feels in your hand. It's really nice in the way it feels your hand, and those finger grooves. I guess, you know, maybe it's controversial out there whether or not a pistol should have finger grooves, but I really feel like it helps with the purchase and kind of indexing of your hand.
It's a very faint finger.
Yeah, it's
like not the Glock
deep,
Gen 4.
It's
you
not
know?
deep finger grooves by any chance, by any means, but the trigger I felt was really nice, and obviously, like some of the features, the threaded barrel, we're not really testing at least yet.
We will.
But
Yeah.
but it was a very comfortable and nice to shoot pistol. This one is probably the one where I feel like it's the closest, because I also felt like this was a very comfortable to shoot pistol. I didn't notice anywhere near as big of a difference in like recoil, for instance. I felt like this was, you know, soft shooting as that one was. Now, being left-handed, sometimes things that are a feature for other right-handed shooters aren't necessarily a feature for left-handed shooters. So the extended mag release kind of interferes a little bit.
See.
So it's not as pronounced over here on the SAR. You can see that's still a pretty flat button. So this large protruding mag catch is actually kind of a detriment for me because I'm gripping the other side of the pistol. But I mean, again, I actually thought this was probably by far the closest competition between the two manufacturers.
Gotcha.
It's really hard for me to pick one of these over the other. I think maybe just out of how comfortable the grip is, I might have to edge it toward the SAR 9 SOCOM.
Okay.
But this was super close.
Gotcha. So close second with that. SAR wins this one too. Okay. What do you think?
All right, so on the SAR, first of all, again, piggyback what you said. The grip is great. The finger grooves are great. It seems like the bigger gun we get, the more it has a little bit more to grip onto. It does have, I'd say, an HK influence on this, maybe a VP9 influence on the grip. I dig that. The magwell is not intrusive either, so that's great. It helps funnel that in. It is, you know, optics ready. Both of them are, so that's great. I will say that the trigger on this one is good. It gives you a good purchase on this side as well, to get you your support hand, and that's real big on me because everybody, you know the way that I grip, I actually pull apart.
Horseshoe method.
I horseshoe it, so that's why I need something just to make sure I get a little grip on. Threaded barrel, of course, again, like I said, we haven't tested that yet. But yeah, shootability is good. 21 rounders, I dig that. That's awesome. The sights on here are actually not as good as the other ones. Believe it or not.
Are they not night vision?
Yeah, but the shape of them are a little different.
Oh, maybe an older version.
Maybe an older version. I don't
Those
know.
are Gen 3.
Right, I just noticed that, so that's one thing.
So actually, I want to jump in because you mentioned something about how unintrusive the extended mag well is on here, and I noticed that when I went to see the mag the first time, it actually feels like my hand hits this mag well a lot.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a little too flared.
There you go.
Gotcha.
So here you are. This one is the one of the ones I was talking about with the safety delete.
Yeah,
so,
that's it. Yeah.
So that's cool. And I dig the gun. I really do. It feels good in hand. The only thing I will say about this one is once you get into the big SARs, it does not fit all your lights.
That's right.
So,
because this trigger guard does
right. And maybe if they just make the trigger guard actually square, you'd be able to fit an X300 on here, but you can't. So
unless they do adapters, right? Well, maybe
something just to bump it down, but
I agree with you. Yep.
Most popular light, All right, moving on. So this one, I remember when we shot the SIG versus Canik one, and this one was actually really good. And I try to keep my non-biasness out of it, but this gun shines. It truly does. The trigger on this is absolutely phenomenal, and I mean phenomenal. You prep it right there, and that's the wall. That's it. You break, it's crisp. The reset on it is nothing, and I mean that. Oh, sorry. Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I'm able to get quick double taps, quick follow-up shots on target, and it's great. I don't know what it is about the texturing on this one versus like the regular TP9, but this one like blows it out of the water. Something I can feel a little bit more spring here, like it's a little bit lighter in the recoil spring or, you know, the recoil assembly. It tracks faster, it feels better, and the sight's great that they give you a blacked out rear and just a high vis white, even though I'm pretty sure these are night sights as well.
Are they?
I think so. There's just little tritium ampule in there. That's great. To be honest with you, I'm gonna give this one to the Canik.
I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really close.
Yeah, so this one, the trigger does it for me on this one. You can literally blaze it down.
I think that trigger is the same as the SFX Rival S, just this is the polymer one, they have the metal one.
Okay.
But I think it's the same trigger.
Yeah, but honest to God, everything else, like they are very comparable, but the trigger on this is just money.
Triggers, absolutely,
Yeah.
it's money. It's really good. All right, so we've got SAR right now. So far, all three of them, Matt gave the SAR, he gave 2 to SAR and 1 to Canik.
Yep.
Now let's move on to the other stuff, unless, Ryan, you want us to shoot the suppressed.
Let's do it.
All right, let's shoot them suppressed.
All right.
So yeah, man, we're gonna try this suppressed, right? Like this one feels
It's
good.
the Winchester 147 grain super suppressed. So, subsonic.
Oop.
Cycle. Oh, you lost one.
Yeah, I lost
Just
one.
fire one.
Oh. Having some failure to feed issues going on there, but all right.
So how many? You got 4?
Yep, that was one.
All right.
Here you go.
1 in the chamber.
One in the chamber there, and I'll give you 1 there. So.
Didn't cycle. That's it. That didn't. Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
All right. Good deal.
All right, and so this is going to be the SAR 9 SOCOM with the suppressor.
Don't fire all of them.
What's more?
Was that 5? Oh, dude, that
You're
thing's
right. Right. Okay, 5. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's exciting though. You gotta.
know.
You're like, all right.
So quiet, dude. Okay, go ahead.
Well, obviously, from a functional perspective, this one had some cycling issues with that subsonic ammunition and the suppressor, versus the SAR did not. And so that's interesting. But again, I feel like, you know, when you look at pistol suppressors, it's kind of unpredictable from model to model whether or not, you know, you're going to get complete cycling on some of these things without tuning of, you know, recoil spring and stuff like that. I thought it was really cool. Who doesn't like shooting suppressed handguns?
Express fire.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Ditto on that. This one won for me because it cycled all the way through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no tuning required. It did it out of the box. So that to me works. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. So that kind of, let's give those half points, right? At the end, we'll add it. So starting at another half, 0. Let's move on to the next ones.
All right.
All right.
All right, SAR 9 Sport, we're gonna give it a try. First
Gotcha.
one with a red dot on it.
Nice. All right. Basin? Again, basin part. You're a pistol guy, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a pleasure watching you, man.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
All right. I don't. Yep. So I don't know that there's a lot to talk about that I haven't already touched on. You know, again, I felt like grip trigger was good. The size is something that I like. It something I can feel like I get a good grip with. I don't know that I appreciated a lot of features that would be different from this and say just the SAR 9 Gen 3.
Yeah.
So I'm certainly still an excellent pistol. I'm just not sure that I appreciated that it was much different.
This is also SAR 9 Sport Gen 3 as well. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. As far as
how was the recoil on that one? For you? Recoil management.
Yeah, I thought the recoil felt good. Again, I don't know that my experience was that it was all that much different.
Gotcha.
From earlier. So I'm interested in knowing like what the specific differences are, because I didn't really appreciate a whole lot in the way of a difference from the shooting perspective. This is, I would say, you know, again, I enjoyed shooting it. The grip was a little bit less enjoyable than that. It wasn't quite as nice as our last Canik, but you know, certainly, again, pretty similar to the SF that we shot earlier. Although I think the recoil on this was better than the SF was, so it was lighter recoiling. Yeah, I'd say I'd have to give it to SAR, because again, I've seen this pattern and I've experienced it with these two as well. That while this seems like an excellent pistol, this just seems to at least fit me as a shooter a little bit better.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right. Well, what about you?
Let me start off with this one. So I beg to differ on the recoil. I don't know what it is. This spring seems extremely stiff. Could just be because it's brand spanking new. I found that this tracked a little bit slower than that. When I'm shooting, I feel like I have to wait a little bit more. In case you didn't hear me, I was slow. I was like trying to get on it. Okay, wait a second, waiting for the dot to come back, and it didn't come back as quick. I don't know what it is. Could just be that, but the trigger is okay, and the trigger is good. For some odd reason, I feel like the trigger on the SOCOM is a little bit better than this one. Don't know why. That's just me.
It could be. This is the first time this was fired.
Right.
That one went through some rounds.
Right.
Maybe.
All right. The palm swell on here is, again, ditto to the same thing we've been shooting. So that's cool. But yeah, the dot is great. Mepro light sights on this one, so that's cool. Moving on to the Canik. Again, this kind of felt like the TP9 SF. But the trigger on this felt like it was from the Pro. So for me, the trigger is great, phenomenal.
Yeah.
This is very well balanced. I find this dot very, very quick. It tracks very well. It's great. It's balanced. It's good. I'm not too fond of their magwells. That's just me. I think they could do with a redesign on that. But other than that, it's good. It shot well. And out of these two, I'm taking the Canik. Yeah, the trigger on this really did it for me. So.
Those triggers, again, SFX Rival S, the SFT Pro, I mean, they're just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, so we got one SAR and one Canik again.
And we got one more heads up, right?
And we got one more. All right. Let's do it.
All right, so we got the SAR K12X, and this is very different from the rest of them we've shot because this is a hammer-fired pistol. It's single action, so we expect a lot from this trigger compared to the ones we've been shooting. All right.
That was actually pretty good shooting. I thought it was gonna be worse. Not that, you know.
Thanks, Kyle.
Because I shoot that one worse.
All right, so we got the Canik SFX Rival here. First thing off the bat.
Rival S.
Oh, Rival S, sorry. I'll keep it to myself until the end. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Nice shooting, dude. Very nice shooting. All right, Jason.
All right. For some odd reason, this just feels very kind of familiar. Can't put my finger on it.
Holy shit. Oh, okay. All right, feedback. Have at it, guys.
All right, so the K12. As expected for a hammerfire pistol, I really like the trigger. I appreciate that the extra weight just helps it to feel more steady in your hand, right? So like whenever you pull the trigger and you feel like you're trying to prevent like barrel flip and stuff, it feels better in my hand to have that extra weight. Now I definitely can imagine if you were going to carry this thing the extra weight on your hip all day, it's going to get tiring. But I love
More
shooting.
like competition shooting, I guess.
Well, yeah. So I mean, I definitely love the fact that it's got the extra weight from the metal frame. I thought that the sights are pretty simple, but I mean they seem to be perfectly functional. It would be kind of nice to see something a little bit fancier, but one thing that is cool is that you've got these different adjustment screws on your rear sight, so you can make sure you get that kind of sighted in for yourself. Yeah, the palm swell still feels really good. There's no finger grooves, but the stippling on the front strap of the pistol grip is actually pretty good as far as getting a nice grip. So yeah, I thought this was really nice. Going to the Canik, I thought this was really nice. I did feel like I was having to bring the pistol back down a little bit more. Maybe that's my technique personally as a less experienced pistol shooter, but I thought it was easier to keep the muzzle of that got it back down on target faster. I do think that the sights are a little bit better in that again you have this nice high vis kind of fiber optic front sight. So that's a plus feature I really had for this one, and I thought the grip was good. Again, you've got a good texture. It's got a decent palm swell back here,
and also adjustable rear sight.
Yeah, sorry, it's also adjustable. So you got screws here for adjustment on this one, and the texture on the front. I think I like the texture on that one a little bit better, but the texture on the front of this was still good enough to give a good firm grip.
Cool.
As far as which one I would pick between the two. I hate to be a broken record. I still think I'd give it to the K12. Now, again, this is kind of an apples to oranges comparison compared to all the other ones we've tested. But who doesn't love a hammer fire pistol?
Yeah. All right, so Jason.
All right, so let me start with this one. All right. First of all, off the gate, this gun is moons and nights heavier. I mean, you feel that. And here's the thing. Just because you turn it into a steel frame gun or an aluminum frame gun doesn't mean you shouldn't take material out somewhere else. So in saying that, the weight's here on the back, but I feel like it's almost like throwing on a 20-pound weight vest onto a regular gun. And to me, I think this just needs to be beveled out in some other areas. Like, leave the slide alone. The grip is actually where, to me, I find the issue of where the weight is. Saying that, it tracks very well. You do have to get down a little bit more on this, I noticed, maybe because that recoil assembly is a little bit lighter, but it tracks very well. I'm very quick. The trigger complements that very well. But then again, my thing is this, the frame, and another thing about the frame, Canik, sometimes I'm noticing that like there's a lot of curdling here. Could be a bad cast, could be just what it is. The area was not prepped well enough, so I find it very slippery on my hands. So that's not a knock, but saying it's not the greatest, right? I just feel like they could slim up the grip profile to equal out the weight a little bit more. I just feel like it's sluggish. Like you're trying to bring this up, and if I'm driving this out and transferring between two targets, I feel like I have to launch my arms a little bit more because it's just got so much girth. Pause. Moving into SAR. Okay, so obviously not apples to apples, this is apples to oranges. When I said that this gives me familiar vibes, it's because, I mean, we can all say this. This really is like a Shadow 2.
Oh yeah, definitely.
100%. I will say the Canik gets a nod to this because it is optics ready. This is not. I'm pretty sure they probably have an optics ready version, but this thing is comfortable. It's comfortable, it's repeatable. The weight is there, but it's perfectly balanced throughout, like 100%. Like I didn't feel like I had to give it more ass and then hold this up. It was balanced, and that single action trigger is absolutely so crisp out of it. I will say this: the magazines felt great. The checkering on here felt great as well. Matter of fact, I think they could actually go to full length. It wouldn't bother me whatsoever because I'm just right there.
I agree.
When I come to squeezing this out, I wish they would add something here, maybe to give me a little way to put my thumb, because I felt like I was slipping on that side, but I was still able to get accurate shocks on target. When it comes to feels, I'm gonna give it to this one. When it comes to shootability, I'm gonna give it to this one. Features out of the box, I'm gonna give it to the Canik, but this one does it for me, man. Yeah.
All right, so Jason has got 3.5 SAR, and you've got, well, 5.5 SAR. So you got 0
But
Canik.
I want to go back to we had one that I was very
Yeah, the SFT Pro, you said you were very close.
Yeah,
to
versus
second.
yeah.
Okay, so 5.5, and you got 3.5, and you got 2 Caniks. So with that being said, in this competition versus video, first of all, thanks a lot, guys, for putting in your honest opinion, because I didn't want to get involved. I said I was going to shoot, but I decided not to because I didn't want to make this video any longer than it already is. And quite honestly, my views were going to be biased anyways. Number one, I'm from Turkey, guys. Immigrated here 20 years ago.
I didn't know that.
You guys didn't know that, right?
No.
Oh. Yeah, Kaya is actually an American name. But I just didn't want to have that bias element into it, because I really did shoot SARs a lot more than Canik, so I'm able to shoot them better too. So I didn't want to get involved, make things unfair, but you guys, especially you, first time introduced to SAR, and you kind of knew a little bit about it. So I'm glad. Thanks a lot for putting in your input. Let us know in the comment section, what do you guys think? In this case, it looks like SAR takes the win against Canik.
Today in this theater.
In this theater, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's very subjective, because these guys are telling their own opinions.
Yeah.
Everybody is different. So this is just our own subjective opinion on what, as honest as we can be, as fair as we can be, what we think is best for us.